The myth of the lost Atlantis appeared with Plato, the Greek philosopher, in 360 BC. This famous philosopher wrote a book in which he explained Atlantis, which he described as being larger than Asia and Libya combined. It is worth noting that Libya represented North Africa, while Asia was another name for the island of Cyprus, and was later given to all of the continent of Asia known today. Atlantis appeared, according to Plato, 9,000 years ago in front of the Pillars of Hercules, which is now known as the Strait of Gibraltar, located along the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea. Plato mentions that the inhabitants of Atlantis had great naval power, which made them greedy and caused their moral corruption. After they led a failed attack on the city of Athens, a sudden natural disaster occurred, which caused the island to sink overnight and became a shallow patch of mud that was impossible to find. There are many theories about determining the location of Atlantis, which may have inspired Plato's writings about it. The German physicist Rainer Kuhn believes that the Atlantis region was located on the southern coast of Spain and was swept away by a flood between 800 and 500 BC. Satellite images have shown two rectangular blocks in a mud patch, and Raines believes that they may have been the remains of a temple that Plato had described. While the Swedish geologist Ulf Erlingsson says that Ireland agrees with Plato's descriptions of Atlantis and matches it. Others believe that Atlantis is the Spartan island, which is that Atlantis became a shallow patch of mud that sank in the sea at the Strait of Gibraltar about 11,500 years ago. The American researcher Robert Samhurst mentioned in his book The Discovery of Atlantis and the Surprises of the Island of Cyprus that he found evidence confirming the existence of this lost continent between Cyprus and Syria by discovering traces of human settlements under the sea and at a depth of 1.5 kilometers, 80 kilometers away from the southeastern coast of Cyprus. He believes that Cyprus is the part that is still visible from Atlantis. Traditional scholars of the Atlantis legend believe that few people have paid the necessary attention to what Plato literally said about Atlantis before the advent of the modern era. In this regard, the philosopher Julia Ennis wrote in her book entitled Plato, a very brief introduction the following: "We will lose an important point when we search for these matters if our mission is limited only to exploring the sea platforms.